Welcome back to another Spirit Island video. In this video, I'm going to be continuing my basic strategy guide, this time looking at Lure of the Deep Wilderness. So, Lure of the Deep Wilderness is going to set up with 3 presents on the starting board, 2 in land 8 and 1 in land number 7. You will add a beast to land number 8. It is a moderate complex spirit with a decent amount of offense, control, fear, less defense, and even less utility. I actually think these bars should be flipped. I don't know where the defense is coming from with the spirit, and it does have a lot of token adds. It is a Badlands, Beast, Disease, and Wilds user, so those are the tokens it uses. So it's starting in land 8 and land 7, so on most boards it's going to be your furthest inland lands. Board E is actually the one exception where you start with 1 presence in land 7, which happens to be closer to the coastal. One of the reasons why this is one of the stronger boards for you. Looking back at the spirit board, let's flip it over. Lure has 2 special rules. The first one says Home of the Island's Heart. It says your presence may only be added or moved to lands that are inland. So this is the opposite of Ocean, right? Ocean is putting presence in the ocean as well as the coast. Lure only can be in the inland. That means there are only 5 lands that it can place presence into. And the second special rule is really powerful. It is Enthrall the Foreign Explorers. It says for each of your presence in a land, ignore up to 2 explorers during the ravage step in any ravage action. So you can ignore these explorers at any point during that ravage action, which can be incredible. It's incredible tools against Russia, as you can deny that Russia 3. And I'll have to make another rule kind of showcasing this and how it affects the ravages. Okay, so looking at the growth options, Lure's growth options are very unique. In general, it's going to be a 0-1-1. That means it's placing presence the least, but it has 2 binary options. So the first option is you have a reclaim, gain an energy, or place a presence. So you're either placing presence or reclaiming. Those are your options. And your other binary option is you gain a power card or gain energy and elements. So every turn you can mix and match. If you want to place a presence, gain energy. You could also place presence and gain a power card, or you can reclaim, gain energy, or reclaim and gain a power card. So your growth options are very diverse. Now your tracks are some of the best in the entire game, ending at 5 energy and 5 plays, but you're growing the least. So it's going to be very rare for you to completely finish your tracks. Now you have that 2 energy and 2 plays, and you have plenty of elements on your tracks, right? You have that moon, plant, and air all along top track, and that animal on bottom track. And then, of course, ending with your reclaim 1s and reclaim 1s. There are plenty of lure builds. I mean, the spirit is overpowered. In this video, I'll be showing you guys the build I tend to gravitate towards, but I'm not even sure if that is the most optimal build. I've heard builds of leading on a single card play. I've seen some builds where you go straight down bottom track. I've seen builds where you go bottom top and then you kind of lean towards top with majors. So Lure has several different builds, and the right build is going to depend on the context, of course. You have 2 innates, you have Forsake Society, as well as Never Heard From Again. The left innate, it is a slow power, 1 range, targeting a land with invaders. It says, after this power replaces pieces with explorers, gather any number of those explorers into your land. If the target land has any buildings, gain 1 fear. So the first tier says replace an explorer with an explorer. You might be saying, wait, why would you do that? Well, it says whenever you replace something, you can gather that explorer in. So this allows you to pull explorers from the coast to your inland lands. The second tier allows you to change a town into 2 explorers. The third tier, a city, into 3. And the fourth tier allows you to use this innate again. So the whole point of this innate is to target those coastal lands. Of course, you can target any land with this innate, but this is mainly how you're going to deal with the coast, right? Because the coasts are going to be the lands that you have the hardest time dealing with. Now, the right innate says Never Heard From Again. This is a slow-powered 0 range, targeting in the land. If this power destroys any explorers, 1 fear. If this power destroys 5 or more, add an extra fear. And this card is going to, or this innate is going to either add a Badlands and destroy explorers per each token, then do some damage, and then if you have the 6th plant, you may repeat it. This 6th plant is win more. You're pretty much never going to hit this. Like, in order to hit this, like, you need 6 plant, which means at a minimum, you're going to need, 4? You'll need 5 plays plus the plant growth option, and they all have to have plants. So this is just not realistic to hit. This second tier here, the 2 plant threshold, you're going to hit this a lot, and this is going to be really critical to killing explorers. So your left innate creates explorers, pulls them in, your right innate massacres them. Okay, looking at the power cards here, we're going to look at the absolute strongest first, and that is Softly Beckon Ever Inward. This is one of the best uniques in the entire game. It is a 2 energy moon air card, 0 range, target in inland land. It says gather up to 2 explorers, gather up to 2 towns, gather up to 2 beasts, and gather up to 2 Dahan. So it's a mass disruption. You can gather those towns, stopping those ravages. You can gather those explorers, stopping future builds. And then it also allows you to set up Dahan and set up your beasts for your damage effects, like your right innate or swallowed. So this card, it is so powerful. Yeah, I mean, there's really no negative outside of it having to target an inland land with your presence. Looking at Lure's other powerful card, we have Swallowed by the Wilderness. It's a 1 energy fast fire, air, plant, animal, 0 range, targeting an inland land, 2 fear, 1 damage per token. Maximum to 5 tokens. Now this card is insane. 1 energy, a lot of times this card is doing, for 1 energy, a lot of time this card is doing 5, 6 damage, completely massacring a land. It's a quad element card. It also has 2 fear for some reason. These 2 cards are why I actually don't play much of Lure, is because a lot of Lure's game plan is using these cards to just take complete advantage of the invaders. Just very powerful effects. Okay, looking at the weaker cards, we have Perils of the Deepest Island. It is a 1 energy slow moon plant animal, 0 range again, targeting an inland land, 1 fear, add a Badlands, and then add a beast within 1 range, push up to 2 Dahan. So this is going to be your adding tokens. A lot of times you'll see in my videos, I like pairing these 2 cards up. There are other openings as well, but I really like this opening because it allows you to gather beasts with your Softly Beckon. Then you can put more tokens in that land, and then you gather the Dahan, and then this card allows you to push the Dahan. So you can kind of rearrange your Dahan that way. In addition, what's really cool is this adding a beast within 1 range. You can actually put the beast on the coast, and as a result, you can play around beast damage. Maybe you're trying to play around Carapace Land, which is a card that gives you a defense, and if you have a beast in a land, you get +1 range. So by putting a beast on the coastal, you can get that range needed for Carapace. So very powerful effect there. Lastly, we have Gift of the Untamed Wilds. I would say one of these is your weakest card. The biggest benefit here, it's a 0 cost quad element, moon, fire, air, plants. And you target a player, that player either adds a wilds or replaces one of their presence with a disease. Remember, if you're replacing the presence, it is destroyed. So, I mean, it is a 0 cost add a token. So, I mean, it's not a bad card. I think this is probably the weakest card of the 4, but it does have amazing major synergy. Okay, so I have board E here. What am I going to do? Okay, so a lot of times I like to choose this gain the energy on turn 1, and I typically get a plant element, and I like to play Softly Beckon as well as Perils. By doing this, we're going to be able to gather everything in, place some beasts, rearrange Dahan, and also hit both of these innates. Now, of course, I end up getting the Jungle Explorer, so this is going to be a city land, and this could be problematic. Luckily, we're on board E, so it actually still works here, so yeah, I'm going to stick with that opening. I'm also going to place a presence. I love placing presence from bottom track here, and I'm going to grow into on E5. So one of the benefits to board E, and there are a couple boards in the game where you have a single inland land that's adjacent to all of the coastal lands. And ideally, that's the board you want with Lure because it allows your gathering a lot, it makes it a lot easier. And it also has less of a guessing game. Other boards, it's not like that, and you kind of have to guess where you want that starting presence. But yeah, board E is one of the good boards. Other good boards, board B, board A, all have that. I think the rest of the boards, there's 2, so keep that in mind. Okay, so I'm playing the 2 cards, we're doing the thing, and we got Mountain. Perfect. So this is where I get to use my Softly Beckon, and this is where if it was wetlands or sands, I would just be in such an insane position as Softly Beckon would allow me to stop all of those builds. But we're going to Softly Beckon, gather that Explorer, gathering those 2 beasts, and then gathering those Dahan. So I'm gathering everything here. I'm going to be using Perils, adding the Badlands. I'm going to add the beasts, and then now I can push those Dahan. I'm going to pair up my Dahan like this, playing around Cultural Asim. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 tokens there, plus 1 for the Badlands. It's 5 damage there, and look at, boom, swallowed by the wilderness. 5 damage fast, killing the city and the town. So very, very, very strong here. And this is probably where I made a slight mistake by me. And that mistake is I would love to use this power here to replace the town here and pulling those the explorers in. That's that left innate. But the thing is look at the only land that I can pull them into is a land that's building, and that's not what I want to do. So I'm probably a slight mistake by me. I probably should have grown into this wetland, and if I would, I'd be able to gather the explorers here, and I'd be in a very, very nice spot. But yeah, so a little bit of an error there. I could take the blight to scale. Trying to think if that's what I want to do here. I think I'm gonna actually gather those still in here. Gather, gather. And actually, I'm gonna back up again, because if I do that first, I can gather, gather into here, and then when I use my softly beckon, gather, gather, gathering the beasts, and gathering the Dahan with perils. You guys already know what I'm doing. Boom, boom, oops. Make sure I do that correctly. Boom, boom. And now I have that right innate killing all of those explorers there and getting me a fear. And I have that swallowed to clean up E7. So now on this turn, I have a couple options. I could go with the moon here. I go with the energy, go moon, and that means when I play both of these cards, I'll have the left innate as well as the right innate. Very powerful. I could instead go with a power card looking for a defend usually. I think with this specific play pattern, I'm going to go with the energy here, going with the moon, playing these 2 cards, and I'll just reclaim early. Placing the present, I like to go top track. You could go straight bottom track. It really just depends on what you're trying to do. I like going top track here because I'm going to have plenty of... I'll have... Oh, it brought me all the way back to here. I like going top track because if I want to flex majors, it allows me to do that a lot easier. Go there, we'll play these 2 cards, and I think we are good here. Just completely wipes that land out, and I have the moon innate and the right innate, so tons of stuff. Farmer's Seek, yikes. Well, this is very unfortunate here. If I go, oh, actually, I just go top here, right? I just lose an extra Dahan. Oh no, I don't lose any Dahan yet. No, so I just lose a Dahan here. I mean, that's great. I mean, I can use new diseases here. I lose the Dahan, but that means... Oh, that's so sad. I have the right innate, and it's not going to matter. Well, we'll just do it there. Goodbye, Dahan. Remove a coastal explorer. Sure. Build, and the explorer's wetland. Wow, and there's no explorer. Look, I have all these innates. This is what I get. Let's go with the wilds. Right innate. And I mean, this is... Lure is a really strong spirit. I mean, if I was playing an adversary, this is where I would like to reclaim, play more effects. I wonder if I just go major here, because if I get an answer, I might be able to win the game here. Which these are actually... Oh wow, tigers. Oh, crazy. I mean, tigers hunting's amazing for us, but it's like the board E jungle is really awkward for my 1 awkward land here. I mean, I guess it's Wounded Wilds. Oh, this card's so good, right? It's going to add a blight. I can do damage. Oh, let's do that. Wounded Wilds is the way to go. Let's go with that, and we'll forget perils here. And we'll place a presence again. Guess we just do this. What is it? Seek new farmland. Sure. Nope, doesn't do anything. Wow, just so far ahead here. But oh, well, luckily just win the game anyway because it was the back-to-back. So I guess yeah, jungle there'd be 1 explorer left. But yeah, this is a very solid game. Not all games go like this, but yeah, Lure is a very strong spirit. If you like this video, like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video.